Alright, here's another swarm. I lost count. I'll have to look at my last video and see what swarm number this is. But I was mowing the lawn and I looked over at this swarm tree that I'll probably call it from now on because all these swarms end up in the same tree. So this time, instead of driving the Jeep down here and shaking them off or going through too much trouble at all, I'm going to take it easy today with this one and try something new. So I took out my extension ladder. I've already extended it and I see that it just reaches the swarm. The top of the extension ladder. It's a short one. So the very top of the ladder reaches the swarm. So I took a 2-frame nuke and strapped it to the top of the ladder. So when I stand this ladder up, the side of the 2-frame nuke right in this area will rest against the side of the swarm. I've splashed a couple of drops of lemongrass oil on this 2-frame nuke. Inside of this are 2 drawn combs. It's strapped together pretty solid so it doesn't move when I stand it up. I'll stand it up and rest it against the side of the swarm up there, and I'm not going to disturb the swarm at all. I'm just going to let this ladder lean against the swarm. I don't have a tripod with me, so I may not get real good footage of it, but I'll show you what it looks like after I stand this ladder up. I'll pick it up from this end and I'll just walk underneath the ladder. The foot of the ladder is right where I want it already. So I'll just walk this ladder up, lean it against the swarm, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I've stood the ladder up. It barely reaches, so it's very vertical. It doesn't have hardly any tilt to it. But that 2-frame box is strapped to the top of the ladder. It's facing the other direction. And it's resting against the swarm. It's not a very big swarm, but I'm more interested in the queen. If there's a mated queen in it. And they should start showing some interest in that box. There's some lemongrass oil splashed on the front of it, just a little bit, and then 2 drawn combs inside of it. So once they start walking in, the rest of them should follow them and draw the queen in with them. If that works, then tonight or in the morning I can lower that ladder back down, just walk it back just like I stood it up. It'll be on its side, that's no problem. And then unstrap it and the swarm will be caught if this works. So I believe this is swarm number 5 in this very tree this year. I was mowing the yard and I stopped mowing just so I could take care of the swarm. But it's been a good year for swarms. I think I've got 27 or 28 different colonies going on right now. This is one of my previous swarms that I caught out of this tree, and I just haven't moved it over to the rest of the apiary yet. But it's been pretty convenient. When I come out here, I just check this tree, and it's almost always the exact same spot in the tree, give or take 4 or 5 feet. So instead of shaking them down this time, and I don't want to go through the trouble to do that, I decided to bring the box up to them. I think I'll have to take a strap and tie this ladder against the trees because it's just barely leaning. A little bit of wind could topple it over. But I'll let you know how this works out. If this works, this is a pretty easy swarm catch. Another good day in the apiary. Now, I don't know if this is one of my colonies or not. There's a good chance it is. I have a lot of virgin queens that's going out to get mated, and when those virgins come back, I have some virgins that just disappear. So if they get mated and come back, some of them are not getting back in their box. So I'm done making queens this year. I have a few virgins left to get mated, but after this I'm done doing splits. There's a few that have failed to come back mated, and I'll just combine those failures in with the mated colony. Alright, I'll get back with you after a while and let you know how this turned out. It's been about 2.5 hours since I put that ladder and the little 2-frame nuke up to that swarm, and the whole swarm has moved into the box, and probably the easiest swarm that I've caught so far. It's not a very big swarm, but I've got a lot of resources that I can share and get them built up and get them ready for winter. And I'll give you a close-up of that box so you can see it. Okay, there's the ladder with the little 2-frame nuke, and they were hanging on that branch right in front of the nuke, and after about 2.5 hours they all went inside the box. You can see them coming and going now at the entrance. It wasn't a very big swarm, but it's probably just about the right amount of bees for that 2-frame box. It has 2 frames in it that are fully drawn, so they should be pretty comfortable in that box for a little while. I'll give them at least until after dark tonight before I move them. I have this ladder secured to the trees so it doesn't fall, because that ladder is very vertical. That's one of the old swarms that I need to move. I moved it earlier so I could mow. And I'm not sure if this swarm came from my yard or not, but it's going to stay in my yard. Have to find homes for both of these over here and put them with the rest of the apiary. Okay, I believe this is swarm number 4 that I caught this year out of this tree, but I did catch another swarm that I failed, and it did not have a queen, and they didn't stay in the box. So I've caught 5 swarms out of this tree, but this is the 4th successful swarm so far. It's yet to be seen. Once I get a mated queen laying eggs, then I consider it successful. As small as this swarm was, it's possible that there's a virgin queen in this swarm, which is not a problem so long as she gets mated. But just wanted you to show the result of this technique. It's the first time I've tried taking the nuke box up to the swarm and leaving it there for them and let them move in on their own. I may do that again sometime in the future. Alright, good day in the apiary.